this is how you beat 99% of your competition. Now, what I'm about to tell you will elevate you through the social ranks, will make you 10 times better than your social circle. But there is a price. Your friends will start thinking you're arrogant, your family will start thinking you're a little bit crazy, and a whole lot of people will start disassociating with you because you've improved on such a scale that they can't even keep up. If you're not ready for such a radical change, and if you're comfortable where you are, I suggest you don't listen to this video. If you really want to aim for your goals, if you really want to achieve what is destined for you, stay on this video and I'll tell you exactly how you conquer the world. For those who stayed, brain power. Brain power was the most valuable commodity ever to exist from the dawn of civilization. Why? Because in the past, people used to value stuff like sugar, gold, coffee, cotton, these rare materials. But something else was held to a higher esteem, and that was individuals who could take those raw materials I mentioned and convert that into wealth and power. Now, these are the very people on the hit list of empires and kingdoms, and these are the type of people that kings and emperors try to eradicate or assimilate. Eradicate because they were a threat to their power, assimilate because if they assimilated these visionaries of their time into their system, their empires would prosper and the competition's empire would decline. Now you see how important this is. Now let's talk a little bit about brain power. Brain power is directly correlated to the amount of neurons that you have in your hippocampus as a part of your brain. This is where neurogenesis occurs. This is when you have these neurons creating new pathways and new neurons being born, right? The more neurons that you have, and the more connections that you have, the neuronal pathways that you have, the smarter that you are. The smarter you are in one aspect makes you smarter in another aspect as well. Why? Let me give you an example. So this is why businessmen make very good politicians. This is why mathematicians make very good astrophysicists. Why? Because they're all very linked. Your brain has a remarkable ability to use what it already has to aid the progression in whatever you're learning. So if you're good at one thing, you're going to be good at another thing. That's why it's so important to become smart, generalized. So this is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and this is why momentum works. So the law of momentum works. You have something, you get more. You have nothing, more is taken away from you. So let's get into that. In this video, I'm going to tell you 3 different techniques, simple techniques and simple changes that you can make in your life in order to make your brain capacity skyrocket, which basically will mean that every part of your life, every aspect of your life is going to improve and your entire life is going to become the envy of those around you. First thing, focus. Develop killer focus. Let me tell you a story. So coming out of COVID, 2 years sitting inside, literally not talking to anyone, working from home. I was at uni, so I was doing my university work from home, and I'd come out of the lockdown and we would go to a beach party with friends and they would play ball or something, and my friend would throw this ball and this ball would come 2-3 meters in the air away from my face and I'd zone out. I'd completely zone out and this ball would either hit me on the face or it'd fall on the floor, and my friends looking at me like, can you not catch a ball? What's wrong with you? So I went back home that day and I was like, I can't just sit around and zone out of focus and zone out in the middle of conversation, in the middle of parties, in the middle of games, right? What kind of life would that? So I was like, I can't live like this. So what I did is I went on the internet and I searched a bunch of stuff. I researched the whole thing and I understood what's happening to my brain. Why is my brain like this? Why am I having brain fog? Why can I not focus? And this is what I found. Social isolation, anxiety, a lack of sleep, a lack of exercise, junk food, all of this stuff that you hear all the time is bad for you. This is why it's bad for you, because it messes up your brain. It gives you brain fog. Now, what I did to counteract this is what you can do as well. It worked for me and it will definitely work for you. You wake up in the morning, 15 minutes of meditation, max 15 minutes of meditation. And then what I want you to do is I want you to go into a random Wikipedia page, something that you don't know anything about. Read the entire Wikipedia page, understand exactly what they're talking about. Close the laptop, write down everything that you remember. Write down everything that you remember and then add commentary on top of that. What do you think of it? What does it make you feel? What do you think about this topic? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? All of that stuff, right? Not only does this train your memory, but also trains your creativity skills. Now for the cherry on top, what you got to do to get the maximum benefit of this is that you got to eliminate all distractions from your room, set a time for 25 minutes, do this task and only focus on that task. Don't focus on anything that's happening on the left or the right or anything. Do it in the dark room, I don't care. Do it where there's no distractions, I don't care. But have laser focus. Focus so hard on what you're doing that your brain should warm up. Your head should heat up. I like to think of it like a laptop. When I was doing this, I was thinking of an analogy of a laptop. So when you overuse your laptop heats up, right? Your brain should heat up because your brain's basically like a computer. Your brain should heat up to such an extent that you feel it here. If you don't feel it here, that means you're not doing it right. You do that and then you get a good night's sleep. The next day you do this, you will see a remarkable increase in the ability for you to recall information and articulate information onto that piece of paper. Trust me, you do this for 30 days, your focus will be top notch. Second thing, luck. Luck is contagious. You need to start hanging out with lucky people. Now, if you hang out with suckers and losers, the more of a sucker and loser you're going to be. Cut them loose. Suckers and losers won't aid you in your ascent to power, to greatness, to living your purpose, or reaching your ambitions. You need to find lucky people. I can already hear you asking, Alan, where do I find lucky people? Easy. Positivity and luck go hand in hand. When you find a positive person, you found a lucky person. It's just the way the world works, my friend. The more positive, the more happy you are, the more lucky you are. If you find more positive people, you find more lucky people. Now, imagine you're talking to one of your loser friends and you say, oh bro, I want to do this, I want to get this done, I want to get that done, this is what I aim for, this is my goals, and he goes, oh, it's too hard, I just want to go and play video games, I don't think you'll make it, etc, etc. Yeah, you can resist it for like a bit, but then after that, it's going to eat away your cognitive reserve, and you're going to cave, and you're going to give into this instant gratification, and you're just going to give up. You don't want people like that around you. You need lucky people around you. Stay away from the unhappy, stay away from the unmotivated, and stay away from the unlucky. You need motivated, lucky, ambitious, risk-taking, positive people around you, because that's what's going to aid you in your ascent. Third thing, eliminate stress. Now, eliminate stress and maximize aerobic exercise, because if you maximize aerobic exercise, you have increased blood flow to your brain, you eliminate stress automatically. Now, stress releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol literally has the opposing effect of the hippocampus that we talked about. In fact, it eats away at your hippocampus and it stops neurogenesis. It stops those neuronal pathways being produced. It stops those connections being produced. This means that when you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you are in a state of fight or flight, your brain is actively breaking itself down, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Now, this is especially prevalent in people who are in toxic relationships, chronically anxious, socially isolated. If you ask these people, or alcoholics, or people who are depressed, if you ask these people, do you remember anything from that period of time? Do you remember what it was like? Do you remember we did this? Do you remember when we went to that party? Do you remember when we went here, went there? And they'll say, no, I don't remember it. It was all a blur. Why? Because your brain literally stops making memories, literally stops creating these neuronal pathways, and it's inhibiting your growth, it's inhibiting your ambitions, inhibiting everything. You need to reduce those stress levels. How do you do that? You do that through aerobic exercise, maximize blood flow to your brain, and then what do? You get sleep. You get very, very, very good sleep. Now, since you're here, here's a fourth tip. These are the supplements I want you to take. Firstly, ginkgo biloba. Ginkgo biloba maximizes the blood flow to your brain, as we talked about, in the same way aerobic exercise does. This means that you increase the amount of glucose and oxygen going into your brain, basically providing your brain the resources to build itself with. Lion's mane. Lion's mane produces something called nerve growth factor. There are compounds in lion's mane, which is kind of a mushroom, and they've put into these tablets. You can get it from Amazon, you can get it from any sort of pharmacy. They produce compounds known as nerve growth factors. These nerve growth factors go ahead and literally promote new neurons and new synaptic connections forming in your hippocampus, which basically makes you smarter. The more neuronal synaptic connection that you have, the more neurons are born on a regular basis, the smarter, the more powerful your brain becomes. So these are the two supplements that I need you to take. These are the 4 tips that you should do in order to get ahead of 99% of the population. Now, if you like what you hear, subscribe, turn on that bell notifications to get these life hacks, proper life hacks, not like the life hacks you see on TikTok, but life hacks that actually will take you ahead in life. And if you got any questions for me, put them in the comments. And that's it, my beautiful people. Alan Abraham out.